when we talk about change and helping young people out of this lifestyle, we have to remember that change does not happen overnight. Because even though I stopped doing it, the lifestyle was still just as bad, because I had no respect for me. And so I didn't know how to respond as a woman. So I continue to have different relationships versus getting out of it, and all of a sudden I know what to do with myself. And that's not a reality. And that's not a reality to most people. And I honestly tell people, I think it was the spirit of lust that had a hold of me, getting into that lifestyle. And so as I continue to go on with the life, out of the life, and trying to grow and trying to go through different things and changing, and I'm making my story very short, but I'll tell you, the change came for me. It wasn't because I left him. It wasn't because someone said go to church. It's because one day I was just walking down the street and God began to speak to my heart to go to church. And when I walked in that church that day, I'll never forget it, I recognized that it was Jesus that I had been looking for all my life. And that's the day that I got saved, almost 26 years ago. And in that time before that, I would always tell people, I didn't see a church open. The nights I walked the streets, the night I was looking and hurting and in pain, there was no church. There was no drop-in. There was no L&O. There was nobody who was out on the streets for me. And I think, for me, I think that's why God is doing what he's doing in this season, not just for New Horizons. I believe that God is speaking to a lot of people's hearts to start taking hold of trafficking issues, domestic trafficking issues. I don't think this is by accident. 5 years ago, hardly nobody was talking about it, but I do believe this is a God move. But in that move, I am so thankful, because I know that as much as we can talk about it, as much as we can want to change people, that change has to start from within. But I'll tell you, once people get a hold of Jesus, I'll tell you, that really does make the difference. And that's why I am who I am today. And many people would say, how do you stand here and talk about this? You know what? When God healed me, he healed me from my shame. And I know my God that I serve is a God of no respect to person. And so I can stand here. I can say that even next year, 20 years of marriage to the right person, that I can stand here and I can speak to you, and if he was in this audience, it wouldn't bother him. Because as he told me, before I married him, I told him my story, and he said, that's not the person that I see. And I have not been that person for years. And so I say and encourage you to know that, yes, laws are beginning to change. Change does happen. And even for the women that I know, they are changing, but they're changing at their own pace. And I just know that God is an awesome God.